Hello and welcome to TNT Collectibles. I am C, and this is our Friday chart blast where we look at the price action of our favorite collectibles. And price is truth. Doesn't matter what people think. It's about what is actually going on. And we'll start it off with Mike Trout in a PSA 10. We know all about the spike and all that kind of stuff, so we're just going to take a look at the nearer term here. And we're kind of hoping that it would hold on to this line of support in around that 4,500 area. But he's starting to in a steady downtrend here. So there's a lot of buying on the way down here. So as far as this card, collapsing or anything like that, probably unlikely. It's more likely that we're just going to boil the frog as we continue to drift lower. So nice clean bounce off the lower end. Eventually brings you up to the high end and then sold again. So if you're looking at this card, what the heck, just this is a decent enough area probably, but just know that the trend is down and you could be subject to some losses. If you really want to try and do this and make some money, then you wait for either another touch of this one and then sell it up here, or wait for a breakout and then you can look for some higher prices, maybe up into that $6,000 area. So who knows here? Right now you're looking at about $4,500 or something like that. So it was kind of interesting. We did have a spike down to the $3,500 area, which brought it back down to kind of one of our targets, and looks like it's been removed. So it might have been a false sale. A little fake news from eBay there. So anyways, just slow and steady decline here. Again, lots of buying, and we're just as far as any spikes or anything like that, low volatility, boring, and sometimes that's okay. You look at the PSA 9, and it's kind of interesting that prices are compressing. And so we'll look for a break one way or another. Momentum is actually starting to turn up just a little bit here. It's at the top of its range, and so we'll see how it goes. But eventually it's going to run out of room here and have to make its mind up whether it's going to go up or down. Look at its price right now. It's about $1,876. And so that's relatively on a 3-to-1 basis to the 10. Fairly expensive as it stands right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of watch this one here, but it is compressing, and one of these days it'll enough people will jump on board and it goes up. I don't know what more he can do this season to get buyers on board, but the entire card market is kind of running out of buyers here. So we may be returning to where we were a couple of years ago. We'll see how that plays out. If it breaks lower, then you could see a sub $1,000 Mike Trout. So it'll be interesting if that happens. That'll be spell trouble for the rest of the market here. All right, let's keep this moving here. Mookie Betts, not a lot of change from last week here. Compression, breakout, then you have another compression here. And what we saw here was a tag. Basically, if you just drew a parallel line from this one, it was just kind of a retest of the underside of that, and it's coming back down again. So it was last week I said, all right, just maybe a little bit of a sell. We do favor more downside because the overall momentum, we do have a sell signal here. So if it does break below, then you're coming back into an area where there's a lot of buying, and this isn't it, but you could see something like $400 or $500 on that PSA 10. He's not doing a whole lot this year, which is short-sighted because this is a player on a very, very good Hall of Fame track. So I think a lot of people would welcome the opportunity to purchase in here as they have in the past. Again, it got really thin up in this area, and they've been buying it all the way down, but we'll see how it goes here. Again, with that momentum lower, I'm afraid that we will see some lower prices on that particular card. But again, as thinly as these things are traded, it only takes one person to shoot it right back up and get people going again here. So, all right, Vlad Guerrero, this is the Topps Chrome, and we had a uptrend into compression, and it broke that. And so this is kind of like Mookie and a lot of things. When they break trend, they'll do a quick little retest of the previous trend and then continue on their path, whichever way that is. And so for now, it's down, and you see a decent level of support at this $150 area. Okay, sitting at about 200. The high price is about $265. So this is at a $165 area. The PSA 9 on a relative basis a little bit cheap, but I think this is going to get a little bit cheaper perhaps. And you're looking at a star stock A in about $40. So I'm just trying to figure out the relationship between 9s and A's and all that kind of good stuff. I think A's Sportscard's Hippopotamus says 10s and 9s, roughly split is going to be a star stock A. So with grading costs and all that, we need to figure out how that grading thing is going to work out. Then we can kind of establish a relationship between these things. Anyways, if you can't hold that $150 here. It's going to drop into this zone here, and that's about $100, and so you're looking for another 33% down, which is not pleasant at all. But again, just seeing in a lot of these things, the drawing kind of buy up. Bat down, Ronald Acuna Jr. here. PSA 10, $3,000. PSA 9, $1,100. Star Stock B, only thing available on Star Stock right now, $600. And so I think the A would be closer to, should be $800, $900. So anyways, long-term trend hit the top of the range here. You didn't know it was the top of the range at the time, but now it clearly is. But what we did say, this was, I think it was last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, with this low volume spike, ignore it and just wait, because it's going to return to this area where there's much more buying, and that's what we're seeing right now here. So the momentum is starting to turn over, not on a confirmed sell signal yet, but it does need to kind of pick up some buying in this area to hold it. If not, then you do drop further, closer to that $2,000 level most likely, which again, 33% drop. So all right, Juan Soto is 2018 update, brother. This is the Chrome update here, and you can see that you had your breakout and then it returned to the previous trend line here. So there wasn't a lot of, if you look at the momentum meter, if you look at some of the momentum on the regular base, we did kind of throw a sell signal in this area here. On this one, there was no indication because there's a lot of buying here. So it's like, well, geez, this could really, really hang on. You can ignore that spike here, but the trend is clearly down. And so what you're seeing now is, this downtrend here and some compression. So it's coming into an area where it might be a nice buying opportunity in the near term, but because it bounces here, then goes back up to this line. But with these prices compressing lower, if it can't hold above this line, then looks like at some point you could break below this area. And this area right here, not a ton of buying, and so you could drop even further, maybe down to that $200 area. So we'll see. Right now, as long as it holds this, you're good. But if it drops into this area, you're kind of back into the stuff again, and you could see some further weakness. So Juan Soto, if he gets it going at the plate a little bit here, then then we'll see. Then we could see some move back up. But again, just running out of buyers here. And these are the golds. Looked at these a couple weeks ago and said that the 10s are rolling over, but the 9s are holding up. And mostly that was just because the 9s haven't seen any sales recently. And so we have now seen a sale in the Juan Soto. And it got rocked. Went from a $2,000 card, and then the next sale was sub $1,000. And so the next Acuna sale that we see sitting at $1,500, if we saw something in that $700-800 range, it sure wouldn't surprise me here. So we just haven't added to that sales data at all here. All right, Kyle Tucker. This is fancy. Kyle Tucker Chrome, and there's a picture of his card. Oh, this is the Star Stock, so Card Ladder doesn't have it, but Star Stock does, and so this is a little bit of real-time action here. So you had a lot of buying up here, but once it broke that trend, it sets a target back. Again, very little buying here, and a lot of buying in this area. So that's kind of your target zone here, and then that's where we're starting to see sales pick up a little bit. So if you're able to get it closer to $4, now this is a guy that I've been excited about for a while, and this week I was finally proven right. We have like 3 home runs this week or something so far. So I still like him. He's still young. I think there's a lot of talent there. So we'll see if he can get going. And this is an interesting spot to take a shot on some of his Chrome for between $4 and $5. If you can get it between $3 and $4, that would be great. But we'll see how that goes out. A lot of buys in that 550 area. After this week, if he has a lousy week next week, maybe see it back to 4, and then take a shot on that one if you're looking to trade this one, and then you could get a decent double out of that if he keeps it going here. All right, Cody Bellinger. Enough negativity. Let's find a couple guys to buy here. Hasn't played this year with a leg injury, but it sounds like he's starting to ramp things up just a little bit. And sorry about all the lines here. You have this parallel channel. He's at the bottom of the range. Tagged it cleanly and getting a nice bounce. And so this is kind of, again, your target area where this previous buying was, and so you had a quick move below that, but buyer stepped in, and so you should see some consolidation in this area. And currently $142, so call it $125, $130 in this zone here. If you really want to be sure, wait for it to break out of this range and hold it. But this seems like a pretty decent area for Cody Bellinger. Not a lot of risk and a lot of potential reward if he comes back and then starts hitting again. So Gleyber Torres, same thing. He had a home run the other day. It was his first one here. So he's kind of got an interesting profile going on. he's striking out 20% of the time, walking 13% of the time, which is actually really good. For most hitters, he's not 25, 30% strikeout guy or anything. That those are relatively under control, and he's getting walks. And so you start looking at things like his isolated powers not there, his BABIP around 295 or something like that, and his average is not good. Then you look at the contact numbers here. So his plate discipline looks good. Again, he's taking walks. He's swinging outside the balls outside the zone at a pace that very low pace, lower than he has in his career. But the contact that he's making is very weak. A lot of soft and medium contact, not a lot of hard contact. So plate control is there, discipline is there, but what he's hitting is not doing much. Hard hit rate is really low. Soft contact and medium contact way up. So difficult to see what's going on here. But if he can get it going. This they could really start to give him a lift here. So this has been, this is the Chrome update, $40. This has been an area where people have bought. So you sell it up around what is the high price, $120. A couple of sales up there. I'd call it $90 or $100, but this is a lot of upside to this card here if you can just get something going. So this is a player that can do it. He has done it. He's a Yankee, so it seems like the risk reward is very favorable for Gleyber Torres. All right, Domo Arigato, Mr. Arenado. So you had your uptrend and then your peak around the $300 area close to, and then it just kind of started grinding sideways, and you needed to hold on to this level of support, and it didn't. And so it went down, retested a few times underneath, but wasn't able to break above it. And so now you're drifting into an area where there was a lot of buying, and this area I would call your line in the sand. And so this would probably be, the way current pricing is, this would be a steal. So now everything's getting cheap, and so we might have to look at relative value. What does a Hall of Famer go for? Maybe it's not $300 or $400, maybe it's $200 or $300, who knows. But this guy is well on the track, and I think if you're in here, it's a very strong buy, and he's getting very interesting right now. All right, Francisco Lindor, I'm kind of proud of this one. So back in this area, it was November of last year, I was talking about my top shortstops, and I said, Lindor, very underrated. If he gets traded to the Mets or the Yankees, look for it to be a $400 card, and he got darn near $400, $410. And then when it got up here, I said, you just leave it alone. It should, very, very few buyers up here. Grind sideways, you might get another chance in this area here. And here we are again. So I'll be honest, man. Total wild ass goose guess. Just pulled one out of thin air, and but that doesn't ever happen. I'm not that right often, and so I'm going to be very proud of that one. Anyways, hit this level a few times, broke down, and now you're in an area where there's buying. So I think Francisco Lindor, he'll get it going. We know what he's capable of doing. He's in a new spot. Who knows what's going on there, but we know what he's capable of, and he's on an excellent track. This seems like a very decent spot for Frankie Lindor. Manny Machado, talked about him plenty last summer. Said this is a really, really interesting spot here. And we had kind of this range, and it broke out, and this is your new range, all right? And so when you have range, you break a new range, you just want to hold that range. And he wasn't able to do that. So prices were compressing up, and it's like, all right, geez, you could see a breakout here. That's what the probabilities were, but he wasn't able to hold any breakouts. And so eventually you just started to run out of energy, and that's what happened. He rolled over, and now we've got kind of this downtrend here. And so this is your support zone. And so there was a purchaser that came in and took advantage of this and bought one. So we'll see what happens here. You're just going to kind of ping pong between these areas. If it gets above this, then you can see some higher prices. But Manny Machado, terrific player. I think a really interesting longer term track. And if you do get opportunities in that $60, $70 area, probably take advantage of it. So right now, currently over $100. So who knows what happens? Kind of in the middle range here, you could see another purchase up into this area here. But if it gets down in this area, pull the trigger. All right, Wander Franco. Doing pretty well to start the season. He should be up pretty soon. And so this is a buy the rumor, sell the news type deal. Who knows what happens when it comes up here? Probably awesome at some point. Who knows? But for now, we don't know that. So he's hit this area before, this $450 area, and he came back down to this $260 area, and boom, up to $450 again. And now you're treading back down again. So I don't know if you see $260 again, but if it came back down to this $300 area, wouldn't surprise me. But if he starts, if you start getting news like, oh, he's coming up next week, then yeah, you could see this get pushed back up again. But people are getting wiser these days. They know to sell these guys when they come up. So it'll be interesting to see how it happens. But here's your reward and your risk, and so it's kind of in the middle here. Who knows what to do in this one? Again, as thinly traded as is, someone can come in and pull the trigger at 300, or maybe someone decides to 450 is a fair price for the Bowman Megabacks, the Mojo in a PSA 10. So, but this is your range, and play accordingly for now. Marco Luciano, this guy, I think next year will be kind of your Wander Franco. This will be your top 1 or 2 prospect. So you had your consolidation breakout, and then now you're in a downtrend. It's compressing lower, so we'll see what kind of news comes out for him. But again, if it drops into this area, $70-$80, probably a decent spot for Marco Luciano again next year. If he's a top 3 prospect, would not surprise me. All right, let's get into some guys that came up and did well for themselves, and start off with Kirby Puckett, hometown boy here. So all right, miss you, Kirby. All right, uptrend and check, top of the range. You had this uptrend broken, and then here again, here's your retest, and now you're traveling back down again. So if we saw something like $50-$60 or something like that, that's probably a decent spot to buy Kirby Puckett. And the reason I wanted to look at Kirby and some of these other vintage, quote-unquote vintage guys. It's hard to call it vintage when these are the guys I grew up collecting, but it is what it is, I suppose. Last year we saw the vintage stuff hold up a lot better as the market softened, and hold up a lot better. So I want to see, is this happening again? And so you look at his high price, $122, currently $75. So it's like, all right, they're not really holding up. They're not offering a whole lot of defense here. So, all right, we have some basketball. I'll start off with the Timberwolf, Karl Anthony Towns. And so everything went up. All right, there's no such thing as, don't confuse brains for a bull market. Look at the column. It's like, yeah, everything did this, dude. It's funny to kind of see those videos. It's like, all right, so you compare relative performance. All right, anyways, enough jibber jabba. What about $300 to $500 is kind of your range here. And now you're breaking below that range. All right. So what you're looking for is market symmetry. As manic as this move up and kind of low volume, see these spikes, you may see it on the way down. So we'll have to watch that. So if he cannot creep back into this range, and if he does, if this is a fake break, then you see the top again really quick here. But the Wolves, I know how good they're doing this year. So this could be a no news type deal. You'd want to hope for $200 to kind of to hold the line here, but it could get messy from here. So we'll watch that one again. If it sneaks back up, then call off the dogs. But hanging out below here, retesting and traveling lower, that could be a problem. All right, 2003 Topps Chrome LeBron James. Big move up to the high price here. It was a little over $11,000, $12,000. A lot over $11,000, but not over $12,000. And it's just been downtrending since. Again, this low volume area, like, this is kind of nuts. But there was a lot of buying here, and so it looks like people are interested. And so that's, again, with a lot of these bigger time names, there's buying on the way down. There's no question about it. A lot of people are still interested in these cards here. So what we are seeing is a level of compression here. And if it can't break above this line, then the probability of it breaking lower is certainly there. And it may sound crazy, but this could become a $3,000 card again in the future. So again, it has to break up above this, below this. That's kind of a problem here. So all right, moving on to Luka, the GOAT of today. So we look at him every week here. I just think that's with the modern cards. This is, if you look at what he's doing, you can probably get a sense of what other guys are doing here. So downtrend still intact, but he's at the bottom of the range here. So he's plumbing new lows. I remember talking about this a while ago. Said, my gosh, could this become a $1,000 card? And sitting at $1,500-$1,600, it seems like, it seems crazy. But here you are, sub 1,000. So it's at the bottom of the range here, and so that's probably your risk reward sets up favorably. But I thought that here as well. Got a little bit of a pop, but again, plumbing the new lows here. So you could see a move back up into this area, which is what, $1,200 or something like that. But again, the trend is down, and if you want to be really, really careful about this one, then you wait for it, and you're going to miss out on the bottom, but you wait for it to kind of break this, and then you're a little bit more good to go here. Ja Morant. All right, last chance for this dude. Downtrending, and you're at a spot where this was the low point when this card first came out here. So here it is. Here it is. Can't hang on. Who knows where it goes? Can't even make a measured move because it would be a zero, and we know that's not the case here. But you could just close your eyes and buy it and hope that this holds. Otherwise, again, it's just it'll probably get wild. But there's a lot of buying. There's a lot of buying here. So boiling the frog. That's bottom line. That the trend is down unless we start to see this thing flatten out and curl back up. But the market has a lot of memory. People bought here, and perhaps that's the case here. But it is the last chance for him. And Shaquille O'Neal, this is the PSA 9. I think this looks really interesting. So this card's coming back into an area where there has been buying before. So the trend is down, but when we talk about the price compressions up, it works the same going down here. So the prices are compressing going lower, and eventually it likely busts out of this and goes back up to a certain point. You probably don't see this, but you could see it curl back up, and again, I just think it gets really, really interesting. I mean, if it gets to $50, that's a crazy number. I think now it's kind of interesting, but yeah. So while the trend is down, just kind of relax and just be patient. But eventually this does break up and out. Most likely there's a large percentage. Doesn't have to, but there's a large percentage chance that that's what happens. PSA 10, same thing here, even more clear, wedging on the way down here and coming close to an area where I think you see some buying here. So that PSA 9 is about $100, and the current price on this one $540. So does it get down to $300 and make that relationship more stable, or does the 9 start to shoot up just a little bit? So again, the trend is down, but it's looking like it's compressing and could get a little bounce out of Shaq. I think people are getting interested in that one. And we'll finish up with Russell Westbrook, who just became the all-time leader in triple doubles, and so a little spike perhaps on the news there, but brings it to the top of the range. And the last couple of times we were there, that was a sell. All right. Baker Mayfield, talked about this one last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I had the breakout in the move down, and thought maybe there could be a little bit more down. But what I didn't do is just look at the previous highs here, and I did after I posted. I'm like, what are the chances? Some chances are pretty good that people bought that. So I'm sorry, but this is a low volume move, and so it came back to this previous high here, and so we'll see what happens. If it can't bounce here, then it comes back down. Bottom line, over that $400 area, you were good to go. Below that, you're back into this mess, and it's more of a downtrend. So that's what we got for Baker. Nice pop on that one here. I thought there would be a little bit more, and someone else thought differently, and they were right. All right, Justin Herbert. Sideways action. There it is. Sideways to... No, just perfectly sideways. So it's at the bottom of the range here. And so in this area, it seems like a pretty decent spot to buy him. As we get close to the season, maybe rockets back up to the top here, but your risk reward is favorable for Justin Herbert. And a lot of these football cards look more interesting. All right, Dan Marino. Laces out, Dan. All right, big move up here. And then it just consolidated. You see these and you're like, just wait, you'll get a chance back in this area again. And you did. So you had kind of your fake break here. And this is kind of like your Karl Anthony Towns thing here. It's like, geez, all right, can you bust your way back up and go to the top of the range? So it happens, right? So you don't know. I don't know what you crazy people are going to do. So, but it's sideways, kind of near the bottom of the range here. We'll see what happens with this one here. Usually you consolidate to move higher, consolidate to move higher. Risk reward sets up favorably right now. So what the heck, if you're looking for a Marino PSA 8, that's a decent enough price probably for an all-time great. If it can't hold this, then you're getting a little bit cheaper, maybe $90 or something like that. But right now, risk reward sets up favorably. And Randy Moss, Minnesota day here. So sideways action, you had your high around $300, and it's rejected each time it gets there. And now you're coming down to the bottom of the range here. So what is that, like $70 or something like that? So right now it is at $112. So there's decent downside to this one, but there's been a lot of buying in this zone. So the game plan on this one is just, if you don't have one and you're looking for it, just wait and see if you can get it for $70 or $80. And if you're looking to sell, probably too late. You want to get it closer to this area than selling down here, where there's likely to see some buying step in. I can't hold this, then it comes down to $40. So if you are holding this and you're looking to sell it, again, this was your chance back here. Gets into this area and starts to leak lower. Then downside is kind of minimal. Well, in percentage terms, it's decent, but it is what it is. At this point, I think you're just holding. So, all right, and Aaron, this is your Topps paper. Nice uptrend here, and poked inside out, a little fake move out, and the momentum is down here, so it's going sideways, but it's trending down. So you really want it to hold this area here. Call it $750 or something like that. Really want that to hold, but again, with that momentum down. If it falls below this, then you could see a really decent move down to that, call it $400 area. So right now in the PSA 10 is $905. PSA 9 is $270. So there's perhaps a little bit of upside to the PSA 9, or perhaps the PSA 10 drops to this area here, and it makes it a clean 3-1. And with that momentum down, you do favor a little bit more downside in the near term. And Barry Sanders, again, you had your big, oh, hey, no, let's go back to Barry. There it is. Your fake break, or not fake break, but your low volume move. And again, just be patient, let it come back down to this previous level, and you got your chance here. But prices are compressing, and you're at the bottom of the range. So again, it sets up right now with a decent risk return, kind of in your favor. But if it can't hold this, then boom, you're coming back down to this area in here, which I don't know, average price. Let's see, current price $210, could be around $120 or something like that. So decent potential downside on this one here. Again, as those prices compress lower. All right. I'm going the wrong way. There, I'm on to my roller here. I think that's it. I think that's all I had for you. Yeah, all right. Well, that's why I couldn't go any further. There it is, Barry Sanders. Finish up with the man. All right. So, as always, if you have any questions, comments, you want me to look at a guy, and what the heck, always happy to. We're just having some fun here. Hopefully, get something out of it, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye now.